On the full moon, especially, people should take a whole dose of it. In the 1800s, turpentine was the number one medical health maintenance protocol that America had for 100 years, until the Rockefellers came along. Turpentine was the number one healing health protocol, anti-inflammatory, antifungal, detoxing, everything was turpentine for America for 100 years or whatever, and then no more turpentine, right? It's the terpenes in there. My friend who is really into this, she talks about the terpenes and how important they are, I believe, for binding to all the nanotech. It helps with getting rid of those toxins, the invaders, not just normal toxins from, whatever.
Yeah, definitely a great binder.
How similar are the two between turpentine and the pine needle?
So traditional use of turpentine, First Nations used it topically for wound healing, to keep infections and whatnot.
First Nations being indigenous Native American.
Yeah, indigenous cultures of North America.
What type of infections?
Anything skin related. So to compare it to the pine needles, essentially pine needles, conifer needles, were the one thing that made the discovery of North America possible for the European countries, because when they showed up under ships, they were depleted with vitamin C. Like scurvy was huge. It was a big thing. They figured out how to, you've probably heard of the term limeys that they call the sailors. They figured out how to compensate for that with vitamin C. But then exploring the inner geography of the North America was impossible, because there was only so much lime you can carry. And they learned from the indigenous that the main source of their vitamin C was actually conifer needles, pine and spruce. Those were the two that were used. They would just take a bunch of it, throw it in water and boil it and just drink it. And that was their source of vitamin C in the winter, because they didn't have anything else. They had some berries. They would, obviously gather some of the herbs during the summer times and dry them and use them. But the main source of vitamin C was that.
I have heard that the pine needle is actually able to break down the biofilm which Lyme disease hides behind, and the pine needle is able to break down that biofilm, then go in there and crush the Lyme disease. What do you know about that?
The anti-parasitic, antifungal activity, like if anybody has dealt with chronic fungal issues in their gut, that's usually secondary to a biofilm formation of an imbalanced microbiome, right? The pinenes have that ability. So pine needle can do that. So pine needle would be the one for that. And that's how it does its anti-parasitic. Like Lyme is a parasite. It's not a nematode parasite. It's not a worm parasite. Nonetheless, it is a parasite. It's a single cell parasite that lives in the body, and it relies on the biofilm formation. So of course, Lyme is a complicated thing. What I'm not suggesting at all that a single substance can get rid of the Lyme, but for sure it can be part of a multidisciplinary approach to Lyme. Dealing with Lyme is tough. In my years, I've had a lot of Lyme patients, and there's several things we do for them. Going as simple as modifying diet, doing intravenous injections, using some activated argentum silver, which can be administered IV. There's clinics that do that. So Lyme is a complicated thing, but it can definitely be used. The pine needle can be used as one of the elements in the process of helping with someone with Lyme. And super safe too. Like when we did this product has an NPN in Canada, which means that Health Canada is approved it for